Guys, what's the crack? Bitcoin with Dinny is Dinny here. This is the channel where we teach you how to retire early. If that sounds good, make sure you like the video so that the social media will show you more of these videos. If you're new to the channel, we'll just give an introduction. First thing I'll say is Bitcoin is full of scams. For all the people who are new to crypto, new to Bitcoin, never send your money to anyone else who's going to trade it for and make you money or do the work for you, because you just won't get your money back, okay? You will be scammed. Second thing, introduction. Who am I? Who's Bitcoin with Dinny? We're Ireland's first Bitcoin consulting company, and we have 4-year track record of helping people to retire early. So unlike your talking heads in mainstream Irish media who failed the Irish people by not teaching them about Bitcoin and by not doing the work themselves personally on it, and this comes down to incentives because they're incentivized not to, but that's all going to change, and I want to talk to you about that because we got big news. The ETF has been approved. So what is an ETF? For those of you who don't know, maybe you've heard me keep going on about this ETF makes a difference. So I better explain what it is. An ETF is an exchange traded fund. Basically, it's a financial vehicle that allows entities, corporations, and high net worth individuals to own Bitcoin. Okay? So basically, big money. Up to now, it was difficult for big money to get into Bitcoin. It was hard, it didn't have regulation compliance, and it was sort of opaque, and therefore institutions didn't want to touch it. But on the 10th of January, that all changes, and it likely changes before the 10th of January. 10th of January is the latest day that this is going to happen. Okay? So this is a financial vehicle to allow countries to buy Bitcoin, central banks to buy Bitcoin, massive corporations like Apple, Microsoft to buy Bitcoin, okay? And it's going to take the price of Bitcoin. Like every cycle, it will add a zero to Bitcoin. And over the course of this decade, we'll see Bitcoin, add a zero, maybe add 2 zeros, okay? So the SEC, who are the US regulator, basically what they do and what they decide will affect the price of Bitcoin in the short term, okay? Because the United States is the largest concentration of wealth and global companies, and companies that sit within that S&P index, we'll call them. Okay, so they've met with all the applicants for this ETF. There are multiple companies, okay, and BlackRock is one of them, who are the biggest asset manager on the planet. Okay, so they basically, the CEO of BlackRock called Bitcoin digital gold. So now he's de-risked it for every single other person who's afraid to touch it and thinking it was a Ponzi scheme because they listened to newspaper clickbait headlines and they didn't do the work on it. Well, if the CEO of BlackRock has just called this thing digital gold, maybe you better do a little bit of work on it, because you can be guaranteed he owns digital gold, okay? So he's given it the green light. BlackRock will be launching a spot Bitcoin ETF. Among other companies, the SEC has met with them all, okay? Just to make sure everything's perfect. This thing is launching. I'm certain this thing is launching, okay? And as I say, there's going to be a line in the sand. There's people who were in Bitcoin before the spot Bitcoin ETF, and there'll be people who are in Bitcoin after the spot Bitcoin ETF. Okay, and everyone will wish that they understood Bitcoin, owned Bitcoin, accumulated Bitcoin before the spot ETF. I know a lot of you guys have been here for a while and have been accumulating, and you are absolutely delighted about that. And you're glad you hit the like button now because you've been listening to me for a year or 2 years or 3 years. Okay, but to our new people, it's really important that you subscribe, get the information, because this spot Bitcoin ETF is going to put Bitcoin in the mainstream media. Okay, people are going to pile in, they're going to make all the mistakes, they're going to buy Bitcoin from some fellow who's going to trade it for them and never see their money again, or they're going to use some silly mistakes. Unfortunately, I deal with them every single day. People losing thousands, tens of thousands, and sometimes hundreds of thousands. And if they only came and consulted with Dinny, none of that stuff would have happening. Okay, so I do sort of sell our consulting services with confidence, because we basically will make you more money and we'll make sure you don't lose money. And that's why investing in our services is a no-brainer. But anyway, I'll continue talking about the spot Bitcoin ETF. So for the first 15 years, guys, of Bitcoin's history, okay, for the first 15 years of Bitcoin's history, our traditional financial system was against Bitcoin. Okay, it done everything in its power to slow Bitcoin down and try and prevent it from being adopted. Now, notwithstanding that fact, Bitcoin was the highest performing asset on the planet. So with our existing financial system, our whole mainstream media bashing it, Bitcoin was the highest performing financial asset on the planet. Meaning, if you're going to put your money in anything over the last 10 years, you should have put it in Bitcoin because nothing else has kept up with it. Not stocks, not precious metals, okay? Not property, not commercial property, not retail property, not collectibles. Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin. So simple, okay? So it done that with the financial system against it. What's going to happen from the 10th of January, once these spot ETFs launch, now our legacy financial system rotates and pivots, and it gets behind Bitcoin, okay? And it starts to sell Bitcoin. Do you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street, guys? Do you ever see that? You know, when they're in the office and they're selling like hell, because these are young, hungry, entrepreneurial people who just want to get rich, and they're going to sell. Well, they couldn't do that with Bitcoin because there was no spot ETF. There was no vehicle for them to sell. So it was in their interest to sell you something else, because if you've $1 million to invest and you decide to put 100 grand into Bitcoin, that's 100 grand less that you can invest into their products. So it was always Bitcoin bad. But now, baby, they're able to sell Bitcoin, okay? And you watch how they sell it. So they're going to be on the phone once this thing launches. You've seen the Wolf of Wall Street. They're going to be hopping those phones out of it, okay? All day, every day. 100,000 people in Wall Street, the best salespeople in the world. And who are they ringing? They won't ring you. They might if you're a high net worth person. But they're ringing all the rich people, okay? To go, you need to get into Bitcoin. This is why. This is the highest performing asset in 10 years. Get in now, okay? What does that do to the price of Bitcoin? Well, it's a fixed commodity. It's the first fixed commodity humans have ever created or had access to. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, okay? And that's why it's a black hole, and it's going to suck money in. And you watch what happens when the existing financial system rotates and goes from being against Bitcoin to being pro-Bitcoin, and we're already seeing it, okay? And if you've been following this channel, you know all this. We taught you about all the propaganda, and we told you how it was all untrue, and it would change, and they would rotate. And that's why hitting the like button on this channel has been the best thing you've ever done. If you're new here, I'm a bit crazy. I get too excited sometimes. I'm just about to go into the gym. I'm actually hungover as hell. I was out in the beer with my friends last night, okay? So, the reason why Wall Street are going to sell Bitcoin more than they're going to sell any other product, okay, is because they get paid on fees. With our consulting service that we run in Bitcoin With Dinny, we're like a fiduciary. We have a fiduciary structure, which means when people come and consult with me, I try and give them the best information that's only in their interest, so I don't get any kickback of the advice that I give them, say. So, and that allows me to give them really accurate information in their best interest. Now, when I was poor and I lived in a caravan, okay, I tried to find a fiduciary in Ireland, because I came to the conclusion from education, I was like, every wealth advisor, financial advisor, they're just salesmen. They're not actually selling something that's in my best interest. It has to be co-aligned. It has to be in their interest and my interest. And then they'll sell it to me. But they won't actually give me proper financial advice. That's why they told you for years, Bitcoin bad. And they didn't study Bitcoin. Well, the smart ones, some of them own Bitcoin because I've spoken to them. But behind the scenes, they won't tell their clients to buy Bitcoin, which is very unethical. But that's how some people operate. Not Dinny, okay? So, these people earn their money on fees. So if I have a choice and I can sell you a stock that's going to go up at maybe 12% on average per year, okay? Or I can sell you a bond that's going to go up at 7% a year, because remember, I get paid commission off the fees of the 7% growth. Or I can sell you Bitcoin, which is going up at 100% a year on average. Well, we all operate out of self-interest. It's much more aligned with their interest to sell you something that's high growth, which means they're going to get more fees from it. This is so obvious. It's always been so obvious. And here we are, guys. And it's a beautiful time to be alive, because this thing is absolutely going to rip. Bitcoin is going to 100K. Why? Because Wall Street are going to pump it there. Banks are going to pump it there. Because everyone wants it. Everyone wants it. And everyone's going to realize that they need it. And that's the thing. Up until now, only smart people, only people who are prepared to read the books or invest and come and do our courses or consult with me or just study Bitcoin for hours and hours and hours, they figured out. Because Bitcoin is Bitcoin. It doesn't need to change. It always was what it is. Okay? We just need to allow time for people to realize what it is. It's like if you find a gold coin on the ground, okay, and you put it in your pocket, and no one knows you found the gold coin. Does that mean the gold coin's not worth $2,000 an ounce? It is worth $2,000 an ounce. No one's trying to buy it off you for $2,000 an ounce because they don't know you have it, but you have the gold coin. And that's the beauty. That's the way Bitcoin's always been. Once you understand it, Okay, so you're beyond all the FUD, because there will be FUD. They're going to try and squeeze you out of your Bitcoin. And some people are going to try and trade Bitcoin and buy it lower and buy back in and make all the rookie mistakes. And none of these people are going to retire early. Okay, but I can teach you how to retire early. And I've taught most of you how to retire early. Okay, and I've no financial training. I'm just an entrepreneur. All right, I generally don't wear a suit. I will wear a shirt and trousers when I'm consulting with clients. But generally, I just kick around in my tracksuit. I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, but I understand scarcity. And I understand incentives, and I understand that our whole financial system is going to start pushing Bitcoin and pumping Bitcoin. Why? Because it's going to make them more money. And that's how that system works. It just wants more money. Now, we can have an argument, and I'm not going to go into it, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing for Bitcoin, because it's all paper Bitcoin, basically, they're going to be selling. All right? Now, I want you to understand what spot Bitcoin is and the difference between owning paper Bitcoin and spot Bitcoin. All right. And there will come a time when you're not able to buy spot Bitcoin. When we're on the digital euro, I don't think you'll be able to buy spot Bitcoin. You won't be able to truly own the asset. They'll want to keep it within the walls, the gated community. So they'll sell you paper Bitcoin. So you guys are early. And if you're collecting spot Bitcoin and they actually truly own the asset without counterparty risk, and you've got, a very secure security setup in, well, life's going to be good to you. Because Bitcoin was the highest performing asset for the last 15 years when mainstream media bashed it and our whole financial system was against it. And now mainstream media is just about to get behind it. Why? Because it's owned by the financial system and they want to sell it. So you just watch what happens, guys. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be a roaring bull market. You're probably not going to sleep a wink for the next year, but it's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I hope you have a super day. Thanks for being here. Hit the like button. Share this video with more people so they see it, and tell them. Don't tell them to buy Bitcoin. Say study Bitcoin. Or talk to someone who has studied it, who can guide them in the right direction. Because remember, most people are going to lose their ass in this bull market, just like the 2020 cycle, just like the 2017 cycle, just like the 2013 cycle. Most people will lose money, okay? Because the money is passed from those who haven't done the work to those who have done the work. So it's important. We got to work. If you don't want to do all the work, hire someone like me or take our courses. But invest in a Bitcoin book over Christmas is the least thing you should gift yourself. Okay, my mother's ringing me. So that's a call you got to take. Dinny out.